And that becomes a very big problem. If you are borrowing money and says, these are key infrastructures that I'm going to put this money in that will generate additional resources for the nation, then people will look back and say, yes, this can work. But when you're telling me I'm going to borrow money to just fund the budget, a budget where you have less than 30% of it as capital, where would that go? It means that the money you're going to realize from this asset, 70%, let's just look at the budget clearly, and says 30% is capital and 70% is recurrent. And you borrow money to fund, it means that 70% of that money you're borrowing is going to do what? Fund the recurrent.
So for you, you're saying that it's okay to sell assets, but with the caveat. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, indeed. We should come out with a template.
Dr. Nnachi, can I come in here?
First, tell us the assets you're looking at. Let's be sincere. Let's gain a trust with you. Let's sign a pact with you and say, okay, this asset and this asset are not functioning proper. We have a gas master plan that has been developed over 7-8 years now. Okay, if it says we want to give out this master plan for people to invest in it and make sure we have gas to industrial areas, then we will understand that. If it says, okay, our refinery, we've been investing money in it every year for turnaround maintenance and it is not yielding, okay, we want to give these refineries out, then we'll understand that. Let's get it clear in one aspect again. The short in foreign aid that we get, that we have now, that is really affecting us, whatever fund that we are going to generate, either through we borrow it from debt equity or from whichever way, or from asset liquidation, should target how to block those areas. Today, 35% of our foreign spending ends on importation of products.
Of goods.
If we can stop that, there will be no shortfall again.
We can stop importation.
If we can stop importation.
Well, you've also seen how that is a bit difficult in the sense that even manufacturers, we understand that some of their raw materials, one of the reasons why manufacturers are complaining today is because their raw materials must be imported or have to be imported. And that again is a problem.
But let's face the simple truth. The percentage that the manufacturers get does not get up to 12%. Let me give you a very simple analysis for you to compare. Maybe you've never looked at it. United Arab Emirates as of today, we have close to 8 flights that leave Nigeria to United Arab Emirates from Nigeria. Emirates leave one in Abuja, one in Lagos, Qatar, Egypt, and name them. They're up to 8. And these are flights that has nothing less than 500 Nigerians in it. If you do a very simple arithmetic and say everybody in that flight spent $10,000, it means you have 4,000 people living every day spending $10,000.
That's a very big estimate. I mean,
there are people that will do 50. I'm taking an average. There are people that will do 50. Just benchmark of what is allowed legally to leave the country. And that is what they have. It is $10,000 times 4,000. That is 400. You have 400,000. So at the end of every month, you have people leaving the country for over. Can we stop that? Or can we reduce it? What do we need to do? We all travel there. Everybody that travels there goes to buy those contraband goods. Like your clothes, okay, there's no Gucci in Nigeria, but Nigerians must buy Gucci. There's no LV, Nigeria must buy it. You stop those systems from existing. And people you can't stop people from their taste. So this, we have to sit down. And pick out those areas where this foreign earnings goes into, and look at the percentage they contribute. From that percentage, we would know how to address it and address it properly.
How feasible is that? I mean, we did see the CBN try to do that when he placed that ban on 41 imported items, and you could see there was actually sometimes an uproar, as it were, in terms
banning them.
Yeah, in terms of no, they didn't ban them according to them.
No, giving you the forex for it.
Exactly, they placed restrictions as you can buy it, but not with our own forex, according to them.
So it has to come from the public.
You can source it from elsewhere. Do you think that will work? Or that, do you think that worked in the very first instance?
It didn't work and it won't work.
So what should they be doing?
Okay. What will it take us to bring those companies into the country, knowing that Nigeria is a big market, that we buy them, instead of banning those items? I'm not talking about the forest restrictions, but those items. For every Nigerians you see, mostly the elite, 80% of their wares are not from Nigeria. Either somebody imported it and another. But another point that is very critical is, because you mentioned CBN. The other day I was listening to the CBN man that was here. And when you look at CBN, the Ministry of Finance, Revenue Mobilizations, the National Planning, these four are not speaking with one voice. You're on A, you're on B, you're countering this, you're opposing this, you're supporting this. This is supposed to be government front. When they speak, it's like it's a choir. They should sing with the same chorus. But at the same time, they're not. You know, normally when we have a football team and after a match or a tournament, they didn't win, I feel like we're like disbanded. Can we think of something like that?
So you also go with, I think it was Senator Ike Ekweremadu, Deputy Senate President, who did say that the President should be rejigging his cabinet. Are you also going with
that's what it takes to make it work?
His suggestion?
If that's what it takes to make it work, I think there's no option to it. You know. What matters now? The biggest problem, I could say, is trust. Within the system, within the cabinet, those in government, you see those that know what to do right are busy reading the president's body language.
But we did see, we did see a day after, I think, shortly after that recommendation was made on the floor of the Senate, the following day there was a National Economic Council meeting where the governors and I think the committee passed a vote of confidence on the people who, I think Senator Udo Udoma and also the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, they passed the vote.
I'm not the one to evaluate them.
Yeah.
If the president's personal evaluation feels that.
What did you make of that vote of confidence, though?
There's little or nothing you could say about it. It is an unexpected situation. See, my concern about the nation has gone so deep. When we look at the economy like this that is on a free fall, we just pray we don't walk into depression. But you see such thing, the level of insincerity in a nation. It is difficult for you to have your aide face you and tell you, boss, this thing you're doing is not right. Can we think this way? This is my opinion. It is very difficult in this system. Where you have people that work for you. Mr. President, you're doing very well. You are the man. We should learn to tell our leaders the truth. For the few time I've been close to power, I've always learned to. The first thing I enshrine with is, if you know I cannot tell you how I feel, there's no need working for you. There's no need being part of your team. I should look at your eyes and say, this is what I feel, this is what it looks like.
But so far, so good. We're beginning to hear, I think we heard from the CBN governor that the worst was over. It was sometime last week.
Yeah.
We heard that. We also heard from the Minister of Finance that certain sectors are beginning to yield fruit, for instance, agriculture and solid minerals, and that is looking that very soon, you know, we should be out of a recession earlier than expected. See, are you optimistic like that?
No, Mokwe, it's not about being optimistic. It's not a faith economy, so there's no way to think that way. If you give such an information, you should back it up with statistics. I believe in data. You should back it up with statistics. Don't generalize statements. Because if you tell me certain agencies are beginning to pick up, they are beginning to... And I ask you, are you talking about these agencies where we have 78 or more of them that's being managed by people on temporary basis? They cannot develop program. And one of the...
Well, that's where we'll have to call it a day, Dr. Onuoha Nnachi. I have to say thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily. We've run out of time completely. We're speaking with Dr. Onuoha Nnachi, who is an energy economist. Sunrise Daily will take a moment and continue shortly. Do join us again.